How do you start your morning? Henry Lee Lucas? Well, he certainly didn't start his mornings by brushing his teeth, now, did he?
Make you bet.
Hey, welcome back to the channel, Breakfast Club. If you're new here, hey, welcome. But a little disclaimer. If you're looking for a channel that dwells on the gory details of heinous crimes while playing some ominous music in the background, this ain't it. But if you got a bit of a darker sense of humor and you want to have a laugh at these jerks, then you're definitely in the right spot. That's breakfast cereal, and I think you'll enjoy it. So do me a favor and hit that subscribe button and drop me a comment to say hello. Maybe together we can jumpstart this gosh darn algo a little bit. So today, I'm going to be talking about Henry Lee Lucas. You guys know him. And not just because he's so fucking ugly that I want to gouge both my eyes out with hot spoons, but seriously, he shouldn't be an off-the-radar type killer if you're here watching this. He shows up on all sorts of lists out there like this. I remember watching the Biography Channel episode on him back in the early 90s. My brother and I used to sit around and watch shows like American Justice and Cold Case Files all summer vacation. 11 a.m. before switching over to catch Price is Right. And then like 30 back-to-back episodes of Roseanne. I used to joke that if it wasn't narrated by Bill Curtis,
I'm Bill Curtis.
I wasn't interested. Anyway, 15-year-old me was shocked. Over 200 murders? Holy shit. Some places list the kill count as high as 650. And then there's this.
How many murders have you confessed to?
Over 3,000.
3,000?
What's the 3,000?
Are you kidding me? Let's just do a little bit of quick math. We love doing math on this channel.
Nerd alert.
Speaking of the 90s, Gen Z, this year is called a calculator. 365 days in a year, so 3,000 murders divided by 365 days. That's 8.2 years. 8.2 years of daily murder. Could you imagine? That's like if I started murdering people today, this is 2024, I wouldn't catch up to Henry until 2032. I mean, even at double time. Double time. 2 murders a day. That's still 4 years of daily double homicide. That is one hell of a schedule to keep. I have a hard enough time getting myself to the gym like 3 days a week. But maybe the craziest part of all of this, the police and detectives involved in the case accepted and defended these confessions.
I don't think it would be proper for me to comment on the evidence.
They sat around in this shitty little office, made small talk, and I mean really small talk, as Henry only had a vocabulary like 75 words. They basically bribed Lucas for confession after confession with cigarettes and milkshakes.
What's the kind of cigarettes you like?
This guy was dumber than Pavlov's dog. Offer him a lucky strike, and he'll confess to 16 murders. Give him a strawberry milkshake, he'll tell you that he shot JFK. Did you know that Henry Lee Lucas is actually the guy who sold out Jesus? These cops should go to jail right along with him. Talk about taking the easy way out of your actual fucking job.
I joke a lot with Bob, kid with him.
Look at that, Bill. We solved 250 cold case murders today. Put her there, partner.
There's nobody else gonna solve them except me.
But how does one become a pathological liar and murderer? Well, let's have a quick look at his upbringing and see if we can't find some answers. Okay, right off the top, red flag. 1 of 9 kids. Neglect? Anyone? No, I'm not saying that all you Catholics are neglected, but come on. Birth control is okay.
We actually have genitals for procreation.
You just can't give proper attention to 9 kids. Neglect is actually a precursor to serial killing. Look it up. It gets worse. The family lived in a 1-room log cabin like the fucking Angles in Little House on the Prairie. It's pretty much this exact scene from The Simpsons.
Dylan, Dermot, Jordan, Taylor, Brittany, Wesley.
His dad's nickname was No Legs. Why? Because he didn't have any fucking legs. They certainly didn't try very hard with that nickname now, did they? It's like No Heart from Care Bears. Only the thing about No Heart is he also didn't have a face. You know how evil you'd have to be for people to overlook the fact that you don't have a face and call you no heart instead? Anyways, I'm getting off topic. Thing is that I guess you don't need legs to sell pencils. So Henry's dad made himself a living. And what he should have done is fashion himself a couple extra large pencils and use those as legs. Now that would be a good look, like that pirate guy from Family Guy.
You got new legs.
Custom made.
New legs.
Maybe his mother was good to him at least. Nope. His mother was a prostitute who forced him to watch while she was entertaining clients. She would beat him if he refused to watch. Jesus. Why? I mean, maybe the one-room log cabin was the issue. There was literally nowhere else to go. But at least, for the love of God, like, put up a makeshift curtain or something. Why force your kid to watch? Plus, what is wrong with her clients? These guys don't have an issue fucking this lady while her 9 toothless kids watched and her legless Lieutenant Dan-like husband just rolled around the room trying to sell them pencils? His mother also forced him to dress as a girl and sent him to school wearing a dress. In the 1940s. In Virginia. Yeah. That's gonna end real well.
Wouldn't you rather have it?
I'm sorry!
If you've followed this channel at all over the past year or so, you know that I have a theory on swing sets and their link to future serial killing. Specifically head injuries sustained at a young age from a violent knock to the head by a rogue swing. Gacy, Ramirez, the Russian freak who played chess, all had run-ins with swing sets. Well, I'm happy to report that Lucas sustained no such injury.
That's Henry's brain.
His mom did hit him in the head with a wooden plank when he was 8, causing him to fall into a coma for 3 days, though.
The doctor said it looked like a head trauma.
6 of one, half dozen of the other. I can't say that plank didn't come from the swing set out back. Can you? So basically, his mom, scum of the earth.
And she's a bitch.
Take another close look at a few pics of this donkey. Seriously, he looks very much like a donkey. The cops might have even had better luck bribing him with a bag of oats, apples, and sugar cubes. Anyway, once you get past the teeth, something looks off in the eyes, right? Specifically that left one. He's got the look of a robot that's been shut off. Yeah, that's a glass eye. When he was 10, one of his brothers stabbed him in the eye. And of course, being the hillbillies that they were, this wasn't a very clean knife, and the wound and eye got infected. And a few days later at school, finally a teacher noticed and got him the care he... the school teacher swiped at his eye with a steel-tipped ruler and his eyeball literally burst. Now, I can't think of hardly anything more disgusting than those two words together. Eyeball burst. Ugh. Well, maybe things will start to look up in his teenage years. When he was 15, his dad died. Not a fantastic start. According to Wikipedia, he died of hypothermia after getting hammered and collapsing outside during a blizzard. Now, not to be insensitive, but how the fuck do you collapse when you don't have any legs? Can someone explain that to me? What, was he doing a handstand? He couldn't even really topple. I think like the best you could do with no legs would be to tip over. Also, I wonder what his funeral looked like what this coffin would have looked like. Funerals are very, very expensive, and the Lucas family was dirt poor. They could have saved some money by only having half casket. So shortly after his dad died, he dropped out of school, ran away from home, and began fucking his half-brother and some small animals. For real. Incest and bestiality, baby. Henry spent his earliest years watching his mom fuck, and then started fucking skunks and possums and shit. And his brother. You can't make this stuff up. But yeah, I know what you're thinking. Hey, this is America. Plenty of people grow up a one-eyed, neglected, and abused boy in a one-room shack with 10 other people fucking their half-brother and neighborhood skunks while forced to cross-dress and watch their prostitute mom fuck men while their alcoholic, legless dad struggles to sell enough pencils to make ends meet, and they don't turn into pathological liars and murderers. So what's wrong with this Henry guy? Now that, my friends, that is not an ideal childhood.
I'm messing up my...
Michael J. Fox.
Let's take a breather here for 1 second. You guys must be thinking, Josh, isn't this a true crime channel? When are you gonna get to the murders? I warned you off the top that I'm not getting into the grisly details. Okay, fine. Let's talk about one murder. I'll give you one guess as to who Henry's first confirmed murder victim was. You guessed it, Mommy. Real shocker. I guess years and years of horrific abuse will come back around and get you. Henry was only 24 at the time and was visiting his then 71-year-old mom. He was actually engaged to be married. No, not to a neighborhood skunk. Come on. To a woman. But Mama didn't approve, and the two got into a physical fight. Mom went with a classic broomstick, boom, side of the head. Henry retaliated by slapping her alongside the neck, and she died. How does someone die from being slapped in the neck? According to Henry, quote, all I remember was slapping her alongside the neck. Then I noticed I had a knife in my hand, and she had been cut. So you slit her throat. He was sentenced to 40 years, but was released after just 10 due to prison overcrowding, which is so fucking weird.
Jail's full, sir.
Dainties in there?
My sight.
You know that saying, you can't choose your family, but you do choose your friends? Well, Henry chose very, very poorly.
You chose poorly.
Just when you think things can't get any uglier, enter Ottis Toole. Okay, trigger warning. You may want to squint or peer through your fingers because I'm about to put this guy's photo up in 3, 2, 1. Ah! I can hardly bear it. Let's see if we can find a better photo.
If you saw this man walking down the street, you're probably going to pick up the phone and dial 911.
Okay. Let's not be so superficial, folks. I was raised better than that. Never judge a book by its cover and all that. Just because you look stupid doesn't mean you are stupid. Just look at Stephen Hawking.
Just kind of limited in what he could do.
He had an IQ of 75.
75? Granted, it's been a while since I've looked at the IQ scale, but that doesn't sound good. Well, let's see. Oh.
I ain't even done one. I'm gonna do 700. Powerful maniac.
You're a powerful maniac. You mean a pyromaniac, Otis, right?
Okay, Otis. Hear me out for a sec. You think it's possible that his own name is a spelling mistake? I didn't call him Otis by mistake. That's how I heard it pronounced in most documentaries.
I met Otis about 12 or 15 years ago when he was crossing through the park.
Otis? I mean, I've heard Otis before. According to bump.com, yes, we're visiting the bump in a video about serial killers. Otis is a respelling of the classic name Otis. Now, I'm willing to bet that with an IQ of 75, his parents likely weren't academics. I'm also willing to bet millions of dollars that it wasn't a respelling as much as it was a misspelling. But still, come on, let's not be so harsh. You can be ugly and dumb, but have a heart of gold, like Sloth from the Goonies.
I love you, Chuck. Oh, I love you,
Make no mistake, neither Ottis nor Henry was anything like Sloth.
Someone's been cut wide open with a head, arms, and legs, and all that cut up.
You know what's scary? With Ottis clocking in at an IQ of 75, that means Henry was the brains of the operation. Oh man, he was damn near brainiac in comparison with his whopping IQ of 85.
It's damn been settled, you know, so we'll leave it to what it is.
Okay.
Henry and Ottis met in 1976 at a Florida soup kitchen, which also makes a lot of sense. They had neither the teeth nor the funds for a steakhouse. But anyways, they struck up a romantic relationship and went on a murderous road trip across multiple states.
Me and him started running around killing together too.
I picture this dynamic duo getting taken down, arrested, guns blazing like Butch Cassidy and the Sundance Kid, only hideous. But it's not what happened. They actually ended up going their separate ways, and Lucas was arrested by this dude,
Howdy, partner.
in '82 for unlawful possession of a firearm. While in jail, he wrote a letter to the sheriff. I have killed for the past 10 years, and no one will believe me. I cannot go on doing this. I also killed the only girl I ever loved. And then came all the lies. And I mean crazy, crazy lies. Cannibalism, you name it. So many lies that they needed to create a team just to sift through them. The Lucas Task Force was established to investigate. Now, when you hear the word task force, what do you picture? Because I picture something like this. Badass scene. The Lucas Task Force, they didn't look so, shall we say, elite. Maybe if the task was polishing off a rack of ribs at some Texas barbecue joint. I mean, they look better suited to solve the case of who finished the meatloaf, or the mystery of the incredibly high cholesterol. I could go on. And in this episode, I mean, I've spent a significant amount of time mocking the intellect, or lack thereof, of Henry and Ottis. But this task force is right up there with them, or I guess you should say, is down there with them. These guys cleared hundreds of murders off the books. They used tried and true interrogation techniques like taking Lucas to cafes and restaurants, allowing him to roam free in the police station.
Uh-oh, you got the handcuffs?
Giving him the codes to security doors. And my personal favorite, letting him read the case files of unsolved murders before he confessed to them so that he could refresh his memory. Thankfully, eventually someone stepped in and put an end to the ridiculous hoax. But of course, not anybody related to, law enforcement. It took an investigative reporter to step in and go, whoa, 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 whoa. Are you fucking kidding me? In a matter of like 5 seconds of actual investigation, Hugh Ainsworth determined that in order for Lucas to have actually committed the murders police had attributed to him, he would have had to have traveled 11,000 miles in 1 month in his shitty old Ford station wagon. Okay, fine, sure. It is technically possible.
What did you think of their investigation?
They did each kill a few people, yes. Ottis is even credited with the murder of Adam Walsh. If that doesn't ring a bell, his father, John, went on to host America's Most Wanted as a direct result of his son's murder.
This is America's Most Wanted, and I'm John Walsh.
All in all, after everything settled, Henry ended up being convicted of 11 murders. Still a total scumbag. He died in prison from heart failure on March 12, 2001, at the age of 64.
I don't know whether the Rangers are to blame or whether the sheriff is to blame or whether I'm to blame. I don't know.
There is a lot more to this crazy case that I just don't have time to cover in this episode. With all his lies and all that went on, he might even be worth me doing just a second episode even. There's even a whole part in the middle of this case where he ran off with Ottis's 11-year-old niece. Apparently, she too wasn't the brightest.
Becky was retarded.
Oof. My, oh my. Things certainly have changed since the days of those documentaries, eh? If you want to get deeper into this crazy story, you can always check out The Confession Killer on Netflix or one of the many, many, many documentaries made on Henry and Otis. There's also a movie starring that guy who ate the shit-covered pretzels and Mallrats. He was also in Guardians of the Galaxy, the blue guy with the blue head.
Sorry, boy.
Michael Rooker. The movie's called Henry, Portrait of a Serial Killer. It's from 1986. It's a freaking awesome movie. Definitely worth a look. Very disturbing. I also want to hear from you guys, right? The comments that you put on these videos are a huge help for this channel. So take a second and just let me know what you liked about this episode or what you hated about this episode and how much I suck. It's all very helpful. Also, I'm now finally offering some merch. A lot of people were on my case to offer the boxes over on Instagram saying, where can I get some of these boxes? Well, I went ahead and I had 5 different designs produced, 5 different designs available for purchase, breakfastcereal.store. I'll link it down below. There's also a couple other items there if you're so inclined. And if you haven't yet, of course, make sure you do subscribe and stay tuned because I got more killer content dropping all the time.